Welcome to the August episode of County Connection, where we talk about events, services, and programs offered by Summit County government. I'm your host, Public Affairs Coordinator Julie Suter. We have a great show lined up for you this month. We're going to be talking about the Summit Cove Loop Project, how to protect your home from wildfire, how to control noxious weeds, and a new community garden in Dillon Valley. For this first segment, we're going to be talking about a multi-year project that improves safety for bicyclists and pedestrians in the Summit Cove neighborhood. And here to tell us all about it is Tom Gozorowski, our Public Works Director. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks, Julie.
All right, so the Summit Cove Loop Project, a pretty cool project we have going on, spearheaded by our Road and Bridge Department. Tell us, give us the broad overview of this project and let us know what we've accomplished so far and what's going on now.
Sure. So the broad overview was to try and add some pedestrian and bike facilities in the Summit Cove neighborhood on what we call the loop road, the busiest road, to make it safer and a little bit more friendly, user-friendly for people walking and riding their bikes to travel in that neighborhood and mix with traffic in that neighborhood. We're in the second phase of the project right now. The first phase was 2 summers ago, and that was on Summit Drive, kind of on the east side of the Cove neighborhood, and that added shoulders, paved shoulders on both sides of the road that are there for use by pedestrians and bicyclists. So the second phase this year is over near the elementary school. And it adds similar kinds of shoulders onto the roadway, but it also adds some school-specific improvements as well. We're creating a kind of pick-up and drop-off area along the road in front of the school so that parents won't necessarily have to go into the school parking lot to pick up and drop off kids. And also we'll have a paved area with a sidewalk to pull off of the road rather than just pulling off kind of on the dirt shoulder, which is what a lot of people do now. And so along with that will be some school zone safety improvements. There's also a number of drainage improvements that are going in. And then of course the same kind of paved shoulder widening that we did in the first phase of the project.
Okay, great. And then for this school zone, this was in some ways more complex than some of the other sections, in some ways less so, I guess. But so can you talk about the kind of current condition and some of the traffic issues maybe or conflicts that we're seeing out there, and then how these improvements this summer will address some of those issues?
Sure. So there's really kind of 2 problems with the current condition. The first is that the road is fairly narrow and doesn't give a good space for bicyclists and pedestrians to be out of the traffic. So right now there's 2 11 to 12 foot lanes, which is a normal road width for cars. And so we're going to have 2 11 foot lanes plus some approximately 6 foot wide shoulders on either side to give that space for the bicyclists and pedestrians. And then, as I said, a little bit school-specific improvements right in front of the school. The other big problem out there is that the pavement condition of the road is in really poor shape, and everybody that drives that road, I'm sure, feels like they're on a roller coaster. And so as a part of this project, we're not just adding shoulders onto a bad road, but we're going to rebuild the road and come out of this with a much smoother, more drivable road that's in good condition.
Okay, so the crews started work in early July.
They did.
And so can you tell us about the progress they've made and what's coming up in August?
Sure. So we started on kind of the north half of the project, the zone between Whispering Pines Ranch Road and the school. And the existing pavement that was there got ground up. We basically take it from asphalt pavement and turn it back into just ground up asphalt, and that will be reused in the project. So we recycle that material, and that's what people are driving on right now, is kind of this asphalt gravel surface. Mm-hmm. We've been working to build out the wider platform for the shoulders on the road. So the original road dropped off right from the edge of the asphalt, or a little bit of shoulder, and we needed to make more space for these wider paved bike ped shoulders. Mm-hmm. So that work has been going to build that space out. We've been installing some drainage culvert and other drainage improvements. And along the way, we encountered a lot of really poor soils in there, weak soils, a lot of clay, which is why the road was in such bad shape and was so
Gotcha.
bumpy and wavy. So we've been doing a lot of work to correct that and try and stabilize that, primarily through bringing in a lot of recycled concrete material that we dug out the poor soils and replaced it with the recycled concrete to create a more stable platform. So that work has been going on and continues to go on, but it's going pretty fast, and we actually anticipate putting new pavement on that first part of the job next week.
Okay, so that would be the first week of August or last week of July.
Yeah, that kind of split week between July and August. And so fingers crossed, we'll actually be doing paving out there on Monday. And we'll get that first half paved and then move on to the segment from the school to the south there and start the same process over on that segment.
Excellent. And because this project will so directly benefit the school community, we were able to get some funding support from CDOT for it.
We were. There's a national program that's administered federally across the country called Safe Routes to School. And Safe Routes to School money comes down to the state DOTs, in our case, Colorado Department of Transportation, and they award grants to communities for school safety improvement projects. So we applied for one of those grants and were awarded $350,000, which is going towards funding kind of the school-specific improvements that I spoke about in the project. And so that was a great thing for us to help move the project forward financially and add some more school safety type of features into the work.
Excellent. So students and their parents will be able to enjoy the benefits of this phase of the project this coming school year.
Absolutely. I think everything's going well right now, and barring any unforeseen problems or big problems with the weather, we should have the road paving and the road work complete when school starts. Probably still be doing some landscape work and things that are off of the road after the school begins, but the road itself will be ready to go for school.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good news. All right, so for folks who are interested in learning more about the project or want to hear about construction updates, where can they find that information?
So we have a lot of project info at Summit County website for the project, which is summitcountyco.gov,
Nice
it's a long one, / Summit Cove Loop. And so there's general project information there, and then people can sign up for an email for a weekly blog update. We have a blog on the project where every week we post updates on the progress of the construction and how things are going. And they can find the blog and the ability to sign up for email updates on that same webpage.
Perfect. Is there anything else that you'd want to add about the Summit Cove Loop project?
Obviously we think it's a really exciting project, and it's going to be a big improvement for Summit Cove, so we look forward to getting it done. It is an active construction zone right now, and during the day people will find it down to one lane with flaggers. So we just ask everybody to be cautious driving through the construction zone and help keep our workers safe. We haven't had any issues so far, but just ask everybody to be patient and be cautious as we complete the work.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming in today, Tom.
Thanks, Julie.
And good luck with the rest of the project this summer. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about creating defensible space around your home to protect it from wildfire.